What's up, everybody? It's Stefan here from Mod to Fame.
And it's Joe here from Mod to Fame.
And today we got a very special one for you on this live broadcast that we're doing for you. But as always, we don't tell you what it is until we show you a little sneak peek. And today we got a very special real quick, and that's what we're going to do. Come on, Joe. Let's throw it up for him. Let's show him what we got going. Until we show you a little sneak peek. So just jump over to the live and cancel it out. Piece this out. Come on, Joe. Let's throw it up for him. Let's show him what we got going. That one. Okay. Yep. So let's show him that sneak peek real quick, Joe. All right. Let's make it happen. Oh, by the way, do you notice Joe and I are together?
I was so sure of our love. I never thought of any reason, a doubt about us. And now I'm right back at the start.
Right.
That's right, guys. We have with us Mr. Dave Tormey himself, one of the founders of First Class Fitment. Dave, welcome to the channel, man.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for coming. Much appreciated. And guys, if you're watching, you have the ability to send us some questions, which we will open up at the end for you to be able to ask Dave whatever you want. But we start first with Dave, man. Again, we really appreciate you being here. But starting out, what is Can I Beat? Because we know that that's where the show comes from. So
yeah. So Can I Beat is a company that two of my good close friends, Christian Loza and Roy Jang, started back in late 2009. So it's coming up on our 8-year anniversary. And I had met them back earlier in 2009 at Import Alliance, which was a big show, still is down south. And this was in Nashville, Tennessee. So we were all into Hondas. We all brought our cars down to Nashville every year. It became a tradition during the summer. So Roy and Christian had started Can I Beat as kind of just an online blog to share cool photos, videos of cars from around the U.S. and even outside of the U.S. And then me being into photography at the time and kind of picking up shooting more cars and getting more and more involved with that side of things, I teamed up with them just a few weeks into when they had started things off, and kind of became their first official photographer, and kind of started this idea of building a network of video and photographer guys to create original content. So early on, it was just, hey, we're taking cool cars, cool pictures that we find online and videos and just kind of reposting them or sharing them on the site. But we knew that we wanted to kind of create our own content and feature, or have proper write-ups and photo shoots done of different cars out there that maybe weren't getting the attention or people hadn't seen yet. So it all started as a blog, and then just kind of has grown from there over the years. We're all kind of into not only the cars and photography, but the clothing, the sneakers, and really other parts of the culture too. So we've since early on have been every year we release different T-shirts and stickers. Our stickers are probably one of our more popular items over the years. That you see a lot of the box logo stickers that we switch up the colors and themes on with different seasons. So and then other apparel and merchandise too that's kind of come and gone over the years. But our foundation is the blog, and after about a year of really attending and starting to vend at different other people's shows around the country, we decided towards the end of that first year, as the summer was wrapping up, we wanted to, give it a shot at maybe hosting our own event. So that was, the end of summer 2010. that's kind of what led us down the path of First Class Fitment.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So it started as a blog in 2009. 2 years later, you started what is today, I would say, one of the best shows in the Northeast, period, for modified cars, First Class Fitment.
Yeah.
That's really dope, man. So, I mean, tell me, where did that come from? Where did the name come from? What does First Class Fitment mean?
Sure. So at the time, you know, we've been to, like I said, several events that first year. We were kind of getting up and running and trying to spread the awareness about Can I Beat and the name and what we were doing. And so we've been to, you know, small local events to big events like Import Alliance again in Nashville and IBOC Meet out in California and Week Fest and a lot of these other shows. And you know, one thing that we kind of recognized this gap in at least the Northeast, where, you know, you had some of the same events that had been, you know, around for years at our, you know, local racetracks and other, you know, European events in the Northeast like H2O and Waterfest, et cetera. But there wasn't really one event or many at least that brought together cars from all different makes and models and kind of broke down those boundaries of, you know, there's a lot of, okay, there's huge Euro meets or there's a big, you know, Honda meet, but there isn't one that maybe caters to all of them and kind of brings people together. And you know, early on from really almost day one with the blog, our thing was, yeah, we're into Hondas personally, and that's what we drive, but we appreciate everything. You know, we like all different styles of cars, and whether it be classics to, you know, domestics to other imports. So we wanted to have an event that kind of catered to everyone or opened our doors to everyone. And but at the same time, we wanted to really showcase hopefully what we felt were the best of the best in each of those different kind of genres or categories. So we knew, you know, being our first show too, we couldn't just open up, you know, and go and host our first event and have hundreds or thousands of cars. We didn't have the experience yet or know how to kind of take on something that big and do it right, I think. So we started small. And I live originally from the Jersey area, used to work right outside of Princeton. And at the time we were thinking, you know, the first things we needed to figure out was a venue. You know, that's a big one, and for any event, obviously. But we also didn't want to just take, you know, the venue or location of someone else's event that was in the area. We were trying to think outside the box a little. What can we do that's maybe different, or we can kind of make our own? And I used to drive by this small private airport every day to and from work, sit in traffic right outside of it. And, you know, one day on my way home from work, sitting in traffic, and I thought, you know, hey, airport, lots of paved surface, you know, it's right in the area. Like I can work with this because it's not like, you know, it's easy travel distance, that kind of thing. And more than anything, being into photography too, it's kind of maybe a cool backdrop, right, for cars to be at and kind of make for cool photos and videos. So that was something that really appealed to me too, because you go to a lot of these, you know, parking lot events or indoor events even where, you know, the lighting can be challenging or the backdrops may be kind of bland, and you know, and that's fine for most people. Like if you're there, you can still enjoy it. But from like a coverage and photo opportunity perspective, we wanted to kind of provide a cool backdrop. So I walked in the airport one day on my lunch break and said, hey, introduced myself. I have this idea. What do you think? And, you know, one thing led to another, and the owners let us kind of roll with it. And I don't think they expected, you know, what we were doing. They kind of thought I was like a young kid. This was years ago. Maybe he just wants to have a bunch of friends over and hang out. Like, so,
friends, son.
Yeah. So, you know, that first year was about 125, 150 cars, and we had a smaller piece of the property to use at the airport. And, you know, fast forward, you know, 8 years now. And, we've done the show every year, every October at the Princeton Airport in Princeton, New Jersey. And we've got, I think, a good thing going. We have a good relationship with the airport. People have always been pretty respectful and at the event, and they appreciate that. We appreciate that. So, and we've gotten more space to work with too. So the show's gone from about 125 to like 350, 375 cars, give or take. So it's grown with more experience over the years.
So did the venue kind of dictate the name, like First Class Fitment, because it?
Oh no, so yeah, sorry, I didn't answer that part. So the name was kind of
that works if that were the case.
First it was the venue, then it was like, well, geez, what are we gonna call it, right? You know, you get all caught up on names when you're coming up with an event or a brand or a company. It's important. So we basically, once we had the location locked down, it was like, well, we only have X amount of space to work with. So how many cars can we fit? So then we really knew that we had to be selective and you know, pick what we felt were the best of the best, or our favorite kind of variety of cars. And so that First Class, and the fact that it was at an airport, and there's that whole play on words, you know, so it's First Class in the sense, in kind of multiple ways, I guess you could say. In one, in the sense that we're picking what we think are top tier cars, and then obviously the you know, the fact that it's an airport and you have the whole like first class ticket kind of vibe thing. So
I mean, I remember I think the first year was what, 11, right? 2010.
Yep.
10 was the first year. Well, the first year I went was 11.
Yep.
And it seems like every year it's become more and more like technologically advanced, the way that you do the ticketing exceptions. Yeah. I want Joe, because when I got there, Joe told me a little bit about how it worked. Yeah. Joe got accepted. I didn't get accepted. So Joe, tell us what happened when you got there. Walk us through the process.
Yeah, it was so cool. So we pull up in the line, and one of the ladies there to check us in, she's like, can you tell me your name? And she looked up my name on her mobile device, and loop, there was a picture of my car, and she checked me in. You were like, wow, that's the picture that I sent them. That's so cool. And,
yeah,
I was in.
That's First Class, though.
Unlike that.
Unlike me, I had to go. Excuse me, Dave. Would it be okay if?
I was told.
No, we've always tried to you know, keep it as organized as possible, and we have a small team of people. You know, it's not just me. I couldn't do it without the help of a lot of our good friends and a lot of my family. So like, chances are one of the girls that talked to you is either my mom, my sister, or my wife. They're at the front all day helping out, and then yeah, the back end system that we have, we've developed with a good friend of ours, and you know, taken something that he's being a car guy and works in the IT space, and tried to, you know, make something that's not only user friendly for us running the show, but hopefully relatively easily for guys that want to attend or register to kind of enter their name and information, and upload photos for their cars that we can then decide, you know, on what cars we want in the show. And then the whole check-in process and ticketing too, it's all kind of integrated into that as well.
So, I mean, I know there are like national shows, right, that travel and, you know, go on the road.
Sure.
The way that you guys have this thing baked, like you guys got this pie baked perfectly. You have a recipe, it works. Is this something that we could expect to see go national?
Yeah, I mean, it's something me, Roy, and Christian, and some of our other friends that have attended or helped out as staff members over the years have definitely talked about. You know, it's hard not to, you know, we see it with we're good friends with a lot of guys who host their own shows. And, you know, I mentioned Week Fest before. We've known those guys from, you know, early on when they used to sell Honda parts in Northern California, but as they were starting, you know, their kind of shows and stuff. And what started for them as a little parking garage gathering is blown up to what it is today. So, you know, them and others as well that have kind of led the path and have hosted shows for many years, definitely make us think about it. Can I Beat at the end of the day, and First Class Fitment, at least as of now, is still you know, a hobby. It's kind of a side gig for me, Roy, and Christian, and we all have careers and full-time jobs, and I, you know, I have 2 kids and a wife and all that. So I'd love to explore the idea, whether it's another First Class Fitment or another event somewhere, and using kind of our experience with First Class Fitment to start something else somewhere different. I just don't know. We'll see, you know, if we have the energy, the motivation, you know, but going in, the thought is we would hopefully be able to bring, you know, a spring or early summer type of event to the calendar, and maybe somewhere different too, you know, travel a little and explore, you know, a new market, a new area that, you know, hasn't seen a Can I Beat event before.
That is super awesome, man. I mean, and for all of our viewers that's watching right now, am I the only one when he said 2 kids and a wife? I'm like, dude, you're like 12. Literally, I'm looking at him, I'm like, this dude is like 12. What does he mean?
Yeah, so I have 2 teenage stepsons, and I mentioned earlier I got married last year, but yeah, so a little, you know, non-traditional, but it's fun. The boys are in the cars, they help out at the events. Anyone who's probably been there over the years has probably seen one of them dancing on the dance floor or hanging out. So yeah, they're just getting into it, and one of them, just the older one, just got his license. So
oh boy, watch out. He doesn't get to
know,
drive the S2000
now. What's that?
He doesn't get to drive the S2000, does he?
No, he asked though. He asked, but yeah. So he's got a little Acura Integra that we're working on and kind of cleaning up for him, and you know, so we'll see where that goes if he sticks with it. But yeah.
Will he have to apply next year to come?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No freebies, no exceptions. They're playing favorites. So yeah.
Nice. So, I mean, the viewers that, I mean, and everyone else that sees this later after it airs, are going to want to know, where can they find more about Can I Beat and First Class?
Good question. So, so we, you know, I mentioned earlier, Can I Beat started as a blog, and that's our foundation. Whether some people realize it or not, or for those of you that, you know, are just tuning in now and just learning about Can I Beat for the first time, we about 2 years ago actually, unfortunately had some issues with our server, and our server was hacked, and we had some malicious activity on the server, which forced us to take down the site for a little while. And then when we tried to bring it back up a few months after the incident, it was actually right in the middle of planning First Class Fitment 2015. And so we were forced to kind of, you know, scramble, get a solution up, and you know, a new site running in the interest of still running and hosting the show that year. But the blog kind of got put on the back burner at the time, because it was like, well, the show's coming up, it's a month away. This is our first priority if we still want to host a show. And, you know, long story short, we struggled with getting the site back up and running, and stopping the malicious activity that, you know, and hackers from kind of taking over, or, you know, even deleting some of our content. And, you know, it was a lesson learned for all of us. None of us are IT guys. We you know, we've kind of learned the whole website management and server management as we've gone along over the years, and relied on the help of friends that are you know, more experts in that, you know, field. But anyways, blog's been down for a while. We're excited that actually we've been working on the new site. We're kind of we're re-energized. We're tired of not having the site up, and a new site's launching in the next 10 to 14 days. So our hope was to have it ready for this year's show, but the bottom line is to do it right, and really to have not only the new site, but we'll have a new storefront, and it'll be linked directly to our First Class Fitment website. So newcanibeat.com coming in the next 2 weeks, and new look, new blog content, new store page with our new apparel and merchandise, And for anyone who's curious about First Class Fitment, that site is up and running still and is available today. So
Nice.
firstclassfitment.com, and and soon thereafter the new Can I Beat site.
Man, that is all good stuff right there. Before we let you go, we had a couple questions come in, and Joe, if you could just read off one from Eric Lee.
So Eric Lee wants to know, how hard was it to gain the trust of the owner of the airport?
Yeah, it's
especially since he thought you were probably like 12, like who was this kid?
Like I did.
Yeah. So I was, in my early 20s. I had a Civic, and whatever. I'd pull up and get out, and had no idea who owned the place, if it was private, if it was public. I knew nothing. I didn't know anything about airports or this particular one at all. But I just took a gamble. I figured there's what's the worst that's going to happen? They say no, and I, back to the drawing boards. I had nothing to lose. So, but I tend to be a little more shy, reserved guy. So it kind of had to step outside my comfort zone and muster up the courage to do it. And basically, yeah, he I think the key was really the reason they were trusted us enough to go through with it is because I'd kind of done my homework before I walked in there, and knew what permits I would need, insurance for the venue and the event, and all of the other companies that have property or facilities on the property of the airport. So I think going into it with knowing that I had to do those things and explaining what I was ready to do in order to have the event there, I think they realized that maybe I wasn't just some dumb kid, and I was willing to put in the work, or at least cover my bases and make sure it was set up properly.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was something they had never done. They had events there, but they've had like flea markets and other weird antique shows and stuff like that. So the airport owner is thankfully pretty laid back, cool guy, and kind of let me take the idea and run with it. So that's kind of how it all went down.
Great.
Well, Dave, man, we really appreciate you coming on and sitting with us for this amount of time. Guys, this is all the time that we have with Dave for tonight. Any questions that they have? Dave, do you want to share an Instagram or anything with them?
Yeah, of course. So my personal Instagram is my name. It's Dave_Tormey, Tormey. And then we have our Can I Beat Instagram, which is Can I Beat, which is CANIBEAT_crew. And that's where you'll see coverage of our recent event from last weekend, First Class Fitment, and where we also just keep kind of regular content coming in from other events that we attend, or cars that we're following and stuff like that. So
that's great.
Well, dope, man. I think that's all I got for you, Joe.
Yeah, same here. I can't wait till next year to go in.
Awesome, guys.
I can't wait to not get in.
Just ride with me.
All right, I'll ride with Joe. We'll be good. Or maybe I might have a new toy. You never know.
Cool.
All right, Dave, man. Thank you very much. Again, it's Stefan here from Mod the Fame.
Joe here from Mod the Fame. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in.
And we're out.
Thank you.
Peace.